Hey Quantum Life, I just wanted to jump online and do a quick energy update and full moon kind of information standpoint for you guys, a new viewpoint that's kind of come through. I just got finished teaching our academy class in Quantum Life Tika, and I wanted to get into this community group and do a little bit of channeling for you guys and welcome all of the new add-ons. Welcome to our community. What I try to do is get in here as often as I possibly can. We will be adding a little bit more content throughout 2018, some clips of our question and answer, and some fun things like that. Also, I'll probably be doing a new moon forecast here as well as my second Sunday every month in this group. And just to let you guys know about my other groups, we do have Quantum Life, which is Jessica Alstrom Quantum Life Tika, and that is my online coaching forum. And I coach about 6 hours almost a week in that group. Anywhere between 4 and 6 hours a week I channel in that group, and that's a paid subscription group. It's $22 a month for full access to that. And then I obviously have my big year-long academy, which is in a different virtual classroom. And so if you guys want any information about that, just reach out in the comments or reach out to Susie Dressel at transcendencekc@gmail.com, and she can give you some information about that as well. But I wanted to jump into this new moon forecast because it's going to be a bit heavy, and I really want to just give you guys some tools and some deeper understanding of what's happening vibrationally right now. This month feels like a giant ping pong table. We've got 2 full moons in March, and the first full moon was all about activating those old wounds, old loss, old sorrows, old judgments, old worries, old concerns. The old paradigm just really resurfaced, and it put us in this state of exhaustion, of grief, of sorrow. Especially the divine feminine, you've noticed, is going to be more in that kind of feeling of the deep sorrows and the exhaustion, and whatever needs to trigger manifestationally to get you into those feelings is what's going to be happening to you this month, which means the things that you're manifesting are actually pushing you into that emotion, pushing you into those feelings, because it's time to purge. So everything is on a universal clock, and we're all moving into this ascension process. And so the astrology is helping us kind of contract anything and squeeze anything out of ourselves that no longer serves us for where we're going. So what I've noticed working with my mentor students this month is it's really like looking at a ping pong table. We've got the old self and we've got the new self, and we're kind of juggling between the feelings, the emotions, the logics, the concerns, the obligation, the loyalty, the pride, the perspectives, the lack, the abundance, and we're really going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, the trigger point is really going to be this new moon on the 17th or the 18th, which is tomorrow. And that moon is going to act as like that net that's in between that game. So you've been kind of wavering this month, going back and forth, but this net will be kind of catching you anytime you're out of alignment, which means that if you start, springboarding forward and you go back into old paradigms or old belief systems or old patterns, you're really going to catch yourself. So this what I am naming this new moon is the selfishness new moon, which is I'm urging you guys to be extremely self-focused right now in these intentions, which means stop making it about everybody else's well-being and everybody else's needs and wants, and make it about how do I feel, where, who do I believe I am, what do I need to be honest about, who do I need to confront, what do I need to confront, what do I need to let go of, what do I need to surrender, what do I need to cry over, what do I need to really reflect on, and then what intentions do I want to make based on what I'm looking at, and looking at it not from the eyes of judgment, but from the eyes of this new awareness that you now have, that you've had for a long time, that kind of keeps you from totally just bottoming out and going into deep levels of depression, which a year ago this energy would have thrown us all in the madhouse. If we would have been feeling what we're feeling collectively right now, last year, we would all be like clinically nuts. So what that means is that we've risen up into this higher state of being. So now that we feel all this old stuff again, it really is kind of pulling on us like this doesn't I'm done with this cycle. I'm done with this energy. Like you're kind of being pushed and pulled. And new moons are all about intentions. It's all about reflecting. It's all about really sitting with, not taking score, but taking stock of who you've been and who you're becoming, and finding that balance point, and finding that place of, you know what, lack is a state of mind. Abundance is my true nature. Joy is my real frequency. Love is why I'm here. And anything that is out of resonance of that will pull you into the old stories. So if you're finding yourself in the old stories, or resurfacing old pain in your body, or romanticizing old unrequited love that's just not showing up for you, or you're afraid to cry or lose it in front of your kids or your spouse or your job. This is all the old paradigm pulling you back into, you have to be strong, you have to be perfect, you have to be in control, you have to be the wise one, you have to be the savior, you have to be the doormat, you have to be the rescuer. And that is your 3D story. And that's what this first full moon activated. It activated big time your old story. And what it did was it kind of like pushed it to the light. And then you are aware of it, and you're going, most of you probably felt like you had lost a couple of years of your journey, or you like really just bottomed out and all your spiritual work has gone to crap. And, you went into self-judgment, and you went into shame, and you went into guilt. And really what your body was asking you to do is go past those frequencies, get below anger, and just dive all the way down into grief and get into sorrow. And allow yourself to be sad for the things that you haven't been able to be yet. Be sad for the things and the people who didn't show up for you. Be sad for the losses that you've had in your life. Some of you have never mourned the death of your loved ones. Some of you have never mourned the death of your own inner child that you don't have any idea of how to play anymore. Some of you haven't mourned the death of your true purpose on the planet, which means that when you came here, you knew exactly who you were, and slowly but surely you suffocated that out of yourself. And then as your resurrection happened, or your awakening happened, you're trying to remember through teachers and books and workshops who you are and what you're doing on the planet, when all you actually have to do is look in the mirror and go into the deepest parts of your own sadness. And this is a divine feminine collective process. So this is the divine feminine moving into sorrow to squeeze out the pain. And basically that pain, it's almost like if you've had a bump that's just growing and growing and growing, all you want it to do is release. That's what collectively the divine feminine is experiencing, because last year she got really angry. And I don't mean women. I mean the divine feminine creation itself got very angry last year and started to begin to look at the dirty spots of the world and start saying no. We started saying no, and we started saying yes to ourselves. But anger is a frequency that is still above grief. So if we're going to actually clear out conscious, subconscious, and unconscious frequencies, we've got to get below angry, which is grief, which is sorrow. So we're hitting our vibrational rock bottom to basically, as we go through, we're clearing all the layers. It's like that last time you got mad at your kid because they just dusted the tiny surface of the window sill instead of really cleaning. That's what your soul is saying, is you really need to get in there and clean. And the only way to actually clean your frequency is to totally accept and express yourself, to totally open up the wound and let all of the energy out. Whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like. I just sent my academy in this morning into some mirror work, and to sit in front of the mirror and tell their mirror all of their old 3D stories and see what emotions come up with. I'm all alone on this planet. I'm always alone. Nobody hears me. Nobody sees me. Nobody loves me. I don't have the money that I need. Telling those stories to yourself and see what emotions come up is the only way that you're actually going to be able to totally purge through what this energy is asking you to do. That net's going to bounce you back. Either it's going to let you over into higher self, or it's going to throw you back into your old pattern. And what I'm noticing big time is right now is that when the sorrow comes up, this sense of pride is there. It's almost like when you want to start crying, but then you notice people are in the room, so you suffocate your own tears because your pride is being activated. You don't want anyone to see you feel weak or vulnerable or cry. And my advice to you is tears is expression of feeling. It's expression of emotion. And if you are not letting yourself cry in front of your children or your husband or your job or yourself, then you are doing yourself and everyone around you a disservice, because what happens is when you allow yourself to go into the true authentic feelings of the past and express that, what happens in others is they immediately move into compassion and their vibration raises. Even though it may scare their ego on the surface to watch you move into grief, it raises their frequency, and a call for help, a call for love activates within them when they've been using you as their lifeline. They've been using you as their security blanket. You know, mom's the strong one. She's the tough one. She's always got it figured out. And when you basically tell your kids, hey, I don't know how we're going to pay rent next month, and I'm scared to death, but I know if I allow myself to feel this, that the solution is on the other side of the problem, because quantumly, when I create the problem, I create the solution. But if I don't let myself go into the problem, then I won't ever let myself go into the solution, because I'll be resisting in the middle point and I'll feel like this push-pull. So this manifestation of these 2 full moons right there are basically this vibration activated. So you are where you are, you are perfect where you are, you have not gone backwards, you've actually leveled up, and you're just in a new state of being with your old mirrored reflections of who you used to be, and the mirror is asking you to let go of those strings of the past and move into the flowering season. And what I was talking about in class today was, you know, when a seed has germinated and moves into a state of it's about to have its death experience and move into the flower process, it is the scariest part for that seed, because it knows itself as a seed. It knows who it is as a seed. It knows who it is as this ball of light underneath the dirt. It doesn't know who it's going to be exposed. It doesn't know who it's going to be bloomed. It doesn't even know it's capable of blooming. It has no idea what it's going to look like as a flower. All it knows is the pressure is building and building and building and building and building, and it has to express itself. And as that seed explodes, there's still about an inch of dirt, maybe 2 inches of dirt that it still needs to go through in order to sprout to the surface. That's where we are as a collective right now. We are in that state of being. And this new moon, or this full moon that's coming at the end of the month, is in Libra, and that's going to help balance all this energy out. But right behind this Pisces full moon is this back energy of Aries, and Aries is fire. So it's giving you kind of the stamina, it's giving you kind of the acceleration, it's giving you the desire to work through this. Because if we didn't have the Aries right backing the Pisces, we would slip into dark, because it's just too heavy. This is the heaviest energy we've had in years. This month's energy is the heaviest month of energy that we've had. But we have that Aries energy that's fire, that's like, I'm not going to give up. It's like that stubbornness of, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fire through this. Now, if we understand consciousness in the state of being, 3D is like ice, 4D is like water, it's the flow, it's creation, and 5 and 6D is steam. So what happens is right now we're in Pisces, which is that deep iceberg, and we've got Aries right behind it, which is fire, and that's going to create steam. So it's really going to blow all of these patterns out of the water for you. It's really going to help you shift, and it's going to help you move into unlimited potential, which is what steam technically represents. It's individual little balls of water, but it's potential to be anything and everything, and it can move back into water, and it can turn into ice, and that is the true definition of spirit embodying a human form. Is the ice is the 3D, is the water is the 4D, which is creation itself, which takes any shape that it's thought upon, and steam becomes all. So what we're doing is we're moving into the state of basically that flower budding through the dirt, and we're in that scary process where we're afraid to let go of us being a seed, because we don't know what it's going to feel like to be a flower, and we don't know if we're going to be loved as a flower, or we don't know if we're going to be able to pay our bills as a flower, or we don't know if we're going to be able to keep the roof over our head as a flower, or who are we going to lose, what are we going to lose, and the only thing that you're going to lose is the pain, because the pressure of the entire universe inside of a seed. If you guys have ever seen, an oak seed. What is that called? An acorn. Thank you. An acorn. It's this little tiny you know, seed that becomes one of the biggest trees in nature. And so imagine the pressure that is inside of that seed until it allows itself to be all it came to be. And so that is the metaphor for this month right now, is you're heading into this, whether you like it or not. You can go kicking and screaming. You can wait for the next eclipse cycle. You can wait for the winter solstice if you want. It's your choice. But especially, I'm talking to light workers. I'm talking to teachers. I'm talking to messengers. I'm talking to empaths. You guys have no choice. You're going through what you're going through. And that's just where we are. My advice to you in this month is, let go of your pride. Let go of your judgment towards yourself and what you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel the deepest parts of yourself. Start telling people what you need and want out of life. Learn to receive. You know, when you feel pain in your body, ask it what is telling you. When you feel pain in someone else, don't judge the surface. Look for the metaphor, which is they're in pain with their own identity. Start seeing what's underneath the surface, because underneath that tree is a root, which is a story. And seeing a tree that's dying means that the roots that are underneath are not healthy. So if you could start seeing the roots of people and places and things, it will help your transition be so much easier in this month, because judgment shuts all doors. It closes your intuition. Pride is ego. Pride is saying, I have to be strong for my children. I have to be strong. I have to be tough. I have to be logical. And logic is the opposite of imagination, and where you're going will be in a constant state of imagination where unconditional love resides. Unconditional love does not reside in logic. Logic is the problem solving of the box. It's the matrix. So as long as you stay in the matrix to solve your problems, you will never ever know what it feels like to be a bed of roses. You will never know what that feels like, because you'll have to stay a seed, because you're going to have to hold it all together for too long. And this energy is just going to push it out of you anyways. What I'm noticing with my students is they try to resist, they try to resist, they try to resist, and then the physical reality shows up as the greatest guru and crumbles down around them so that they have to crumble with it. So that is also a choice, but it will be happening. And on the other side of that is basically, it's the whole metaphor for spring. You know, the rain brings the spring flowers. So you need to create the rain, the tears, the sorrow, the grief, the anger, and you need to allow yourself to express that so that you can bud through the rest of that dirt and bloom. So that is my new moon forecast. And, you know, if you like what you heard today and you're just getting your feet wet with my teachings, you know, I've got a couple of 100 videos on YouTube, and if you're ready for more accelerating teachings, I'm doing an alchemy training right now in my Facebook group, which is the subscription group, and that is $22 a month for those trainings. And then if you want, I also do mentorships a couple of times a year, so you can get with me if any of this kind of, you know, resonated with you. Otherwise, good luck on your journey, and just be true to yourselves, and you will get through it. And everything on the other side of fear is love. So have a great month, you guys, and I'll see you soon.